Thank you, sir. Without much ado, I now request Srimati Vanaja Krishnamurthy, Treasurer, WA, to honor Sister Brahmakumari Veena.
Camera.
Thank you, ma'am. It is with great pride and honor that I invite our Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu to deliver the Chief Guest address.
Okay.
Dignitaries of the dais, Srimati Padma Venkatraman, President, Women's Indian Association, Srimati Kalyani Raj, President, All India Women's Conference, Sister Brahmakumari Veena, Srimati Shanti Socrates, Srimati Vanaja Krishnamurthy, Dr. Manju Kar, Dr. Bhuma Srinivasan, Dr. Upasana Singh, esteemed delegates to this conference coming from various parts of the country, all distinguished dignitaries, invitees present here on this beautiful occasion of this All India Women's Conference. I extend my warmest greetings and best wishes to all of you. At the outset, I'd like to impress upon the delegates who have come from other parts of the country, outside Tamil Nadu, let us spare some time, visit some places. It's a beautiful state, full of heritage and history, very delicious cuisine, and best of all is the best season to visit our state. So spend some time, move around. Culinary needs, fashion needs, spiritual needs, all needs are here. Move around. This place is full of it. And the people are very hospitable, very nice. Women's Indian Association and All India Women's Conference, they have been pursuing the cause of women for long years. Of course, almost 100 years. Women's Indian Association is over 100 years old, and the other one is going to complete 100 years. You have been the catalyst to many reforms, many changes, which could make the lives of our women folk better. It has a very rich history, rich legacy, inspired by the great leader like Annie Besant and visionary leaders who carried it forward till today. We heard the reports. You are doing human service. Being the very credible voice for the issues relating to women, you have a great responsibility. You know, generally there is a belief among men that men knows the women's problem. It's all around. I know for sure, of course you know it very well, but I don't know as a man, I know that men do not understand much of women's problem. You know, my first shock was over 30 years ago when I was serving in the government Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. We had hosted a foreign delegation. A delegation comprised some women delegates as well. They had come to the North Block. You know, you see how magnificent it looks from outside. And during the course of the discussion, some women delegates wanted to use washroom. And everyone was at a loss. Where is ladies' toilet? It's not that they were not ladies working ladies and all. Norfolk hosts Home and Finance, two very important ministries. Thousands of employees. And a good number of women as men. Even those days, we used to have fairly good number of women. And everyone started scurrying around asking everyone else. Every man in the delegation asking the other man, where is the ladies' toilet? And nobody knew it. And then finally it was found to our utter embarrassment that it was somewhere out in the remote corner. Now, this is just a small incident, but it has a big message. How men do not understand women's problem. You know, we have been talking since ages, pre-independence, and we have been talking loudly after independence about women empowerment. We held various symposiums, seminars, policy papers, working groups. Off and on, some legislation, some rules, some regulations kept coming. But eventually these proved not very, very effective. They made some marginal changes, some improvement, but not much, not significant. Because we didn't address the issues in the fundamental ways. All the time we talked about women's education. The women must be educated. Good. Nobody questions that. But we didn't bother to build girls' toilet in schools. Now, all the talk of women's education couldn't fructify to its optimum until we look into the basics. In houses, every home, till about a decade ago, 60% of our country used to go for open defecation. We talked about women's safety, women's dignity. Why didn't it occur to anyone else before? When Prime Minister Modi started talking about toilets, some people made mockery of it. We have nothing else as a Prime Minister to talk other than the toilets. But today, with the toilets built in every institution, every school, every office, every college, every working place, every public place, you see the difference. You know, our country today with a resolve is moving ahead. The country has resolved that in next less than 2.5 decades, we must be a fully developed nation. Self-reliant and fully developed. And is it possible without optimal contribution of half the population? It's not. And so, creating conducive environment. In fact, somehow I personally, I'm not very fond of the word empowerment because it sounds condescending. Every household, we all, in all our houses, including my house, we all know who is the pillar of the house. We know how is the household is. And the one who does it often at her own cost. And we talk about we will empower you. Somehow it doesn't gel with me. We need to create conducive atmosphere. We need to remove the obstacles. We need to create enabling environment for women to contribute their. Today, education as such is not a problem as such. I, as a chancellor of a state university, 20th State University, I can assure you that whichever university I go, I find the women, the girls students are more than boys students. When it comes to the gold medal, the distribution of medals, I am pleasantly surprised that among the entire gathering of medalists, I have to strain to find out where is the ball. Almost over 80 to 90% medalists are girls. So while education issue is addressed or is being addressed, there are several pressing issues. And I'm sure you are all working, you have been doing great service. Not to the women folk alone, but to the nation. Because there lies the vested interest of the nation. And women has to grow, and has to be as much contributed to the growth of the nation as anyone else, if not more. There are new issues. The issues which were there at the time, when these institutions were conceived, I think we have to address the new issues. And the new issues are afflicting women in every segment. Let us say educated women, working women, women at home, those who are looking after the homes. In all these sectors today, what kind of problems women face? You would know it more. You would know it better. When it comes to the educated women, when we find that all over the country, more number of women are graduating and more number of women are gold medalists. When it comes to their participation in workforce, I am talking about the formal workforce. I am not underappreciating the work that the women do at the house, but I am talking about the formal workforce because that is how the trend is. We still don't find representation adequate. Why? Why is it that the women who are intellectually capable are not getting into the workforce? We need to study. In fact, whenever I visit my universities for convocation, after the convocation is over, with a break when the students all have their lunch and all, when they come and I meet and interact with the gold medalist. Just out of my own curiosity to know what are their aspirations in life. Because I want to have a sense what my young generation is thinking about. Their thinking determines the shapes the future. And when in the medalist gathering, overwhelming majority of women, I find a good number of them still are constrained or restrained. With the tears in their eyes, they say, no, my parents will not let me go to Chennai because the field is not safe. What will she do? This is a problem which is prevailing. How to make our cities safe. There is a program Government of India has launched and is moving for a smart city, safe city program. But to make the city safe, to have adequate number of women's hostels in the cities, to enable so that the parents feel comfortably letting their daughters go to the cities and work. Not necessarily big cities, tier 2, tier 3 cities as well. Adequate facilities for the women. Safe, adequate facilities for the women. This is a major challenge that we find our women, educated women, are facing. Women, those who are working, look at the handicap that they face. You know, there is a study. A study shows that every working woman, irrespective of the position, even one who is the CEO of a company, and women, besides doing the work that she is doing in the company or office, she has to spend about 5 to 6 hours for doing the domestic chores, looking after the household, looking after the children, looking after the husband, looking after the elders. All these things she has to spend. And it's a drain. Can something be done? I think it's the time that we have been talking a lot about it. We have talked enough about awareness among women. There need to be creating awareness among men. Why don't they share the responsibilities? Can there be something? Can there be something thought of? Working women, those who have children, small children, babies. I know that you have worked for some creches in the past. I have seen the record. That is not enough. It needs institutionalized response. You have a large number of women today going to offices all over. Industries, factories, offices. They are working. I think we need to move as an institutional response to all these institutions. There should be adjacent to the institution, as a part of the institution, there should be a play school for the children. Creche and play school. It has to be moved. Unless you move it, if you move it, things don't move on its own. It needs advocacy, it needs persistent pushing. If we want our women to come out and contribute to their optimum, we have to create conducive atmosphere. Today, unfortunately, the families are becoming nuclear families. Imagine a husband, wife, a small baby. How can a woman go to and work? Invariably, most of them, they drop, they leave work. And with the discontinuance of about several years, at least 5, 6, 7 years, where is the prospect of getting back again? No. So, these interventions, that yes, today, as we have built toilets in every institution, every office, every industry, every factory, women's toilet. Similarly, in the institutions where women are working, as a part of the institution infrastructure, there should be a play school for the babies. It will help a lot. We have a huge problem emerging, which brunt is borne by the women. And this is children born with autistic who are on a spectrum. In 2016, when I was part of the Prime Minister's office, I had done a study. At the time, I was given a figure that over 50 lakhs children on a spectrum were there in India at the time. My own sense is this was an underestimation. Because of inhibition, people don't even report. And especially if it's a girl child, parents are very hesitant to report. Now, when autistic child is born, and we are finding more and more, who bears the brunt most? It is the mother. So no one else. Others might be, but it is the mother. And still we do not have a sufficient support infrastructure for such children, so that the mothers will have some relief. Now these are major problems of today. 50 years back, people didn't talk about autism. It was not there, and all over the world, it is accepted phenomenon that this is increasing. It wasn't there, whatever be, maybe the change in lifestyle or whatever be the reason, I'm not getting into it because this is a least understood issue as yet. And there is a study that shows that more than 75% of women, mothers of the children, had at least once made attempt to suicide. It's a shock. First it is a shock, and thereafter it is a big responsibility. Can we think about it? There are major issues affecting the society. Society will take care, others will take care. But since you are a women organization, is thinking about the women's issues, I think these issues, it needs attention. Women, those who are in house, working at home, wherever there is a joint family, and by joint family I only mean 3 generations. Grandfather, grandmother, mother, child. 3 generations. Who takes care of elderlies in the house? Elderlies are not, because, it's a Western view to take a human being, including women, as an economic entity. If you are economically not bringing cash to the home, you are not useful. This is not our way of looking at it. This is not a humane way of looking at it. We have never looked at a human being as an economic agent only. Yes, earning is a part of it, but everyone cannot earn. And everyone cannot earn for all ages to come. We all grow. There comes a time. Who takes care of the elderly? Elderly is the women who takes care of the elderly. What is the incentive that we have for them? It needs institutionalized intervention. We are not thinking about it. The family, a structure itself. If the family structure, wherever it is holding today, and unfortunately it is under huge pressure, it is the women who are holding this family structure. And we know that the breaking of the joint family, the breaking of the family, and more nuclear family is the cause of much of the problem. Much of the problem. Psychological, emotional, physical, all the problem. Now, if we value, and this is what traditionally we have valued in our country, family as a self-sustaining unit. If the value of the family has to be upheld and appreciated, obviously the one who is the pillar of it, one who bears the whole responsibility of taking care of the elderly and infirm member of the house. What is that? It's time that we need to talk about it. It's time that there is institutionalized intervention. And this intervention will come from the government. It's not that you will be able to provide that. You have to create the awareness. And today you know that there is a government which is very sensitive to it. The transformation that has happened in the last 10 years, right from the toilet in the house to cooking gas, potable drinking water. Who is the prime beneficiary? Women in the villages have to go far off to get the water. Here, in fact, when the delegation came to invite, I shared my experience. When the leaders came to invite me for this conference, that in our state, Tamil Nadu, we have more than 1.5 crore beneficiaries who have taken Mudra loan, and nearly half of them are women. And I have gone to the rural areas, I've seen the rural women in tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities women, how enterprising they are. They have taken loan and they have started contributing. Somebody with a tailoring machine, somebody and making things, somebody buying a cow, somebody running a tea shop, starting a tea shop. In various ways. Women are enterprising. There is no dearth of enterprise. They have been enterprising all through, not since yesterday. That is how society has survived. That is how families have been upheld. In fact, the societies have been upheld. women are the pillars. But today the problems that they are facing with this, our ambition that we must grow, the nation must grow in a timeline and grow in a manner, our Indian ways, to show the world that there is an alternative way of living. Not the Western way where the older people are put in the asylum. You may call it old age home or whatever you might call it, but the fact is that they are displaced. But the children, again, are considered liability, so many people are going without children. Instead of parents, that the state feels that they will be the people who will look after children. Those values we have never appreciated. These values have never held a ground. So if we have to demonstrate to the world, and which we must, for the good of the world, alternative way of living, alternative way of a society, alternative way of progress. In all these, women are crucial. And all these issues need crying attention. I would urge that if you think these issues are worthwhile, think over it and take it forward. Doggedly pursue it. Otherwise, conferences will be held 50 years down, 100 years down, we will continue doing it. Let us make impactful. You have done it in the past, and you are capable of doing it even today. That is the reason why I thought I should share these issues. I wish this conference the very, very best. I wish the delegates who have come from outside the state, outside Tamil Nadu, very pleasant stay. You go back with a happy memory and go back safely to your respective houses. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable insights and for elaborately talking about the varied woes of women while setting a powerful and promising vision for the future of our organization. Thank you, sir. Now I call upon Ms. Bhuma Srinivasan, Vice President, Women's Indian Association, to give the words of thanks.
My humble pronouns to one and all present here. Our first thanks are due to the Almighty. I deem it a great pleasure and honor to thank our Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu for accepting our invitation and inaugurating the annual conference of All India Women's Association and also releasing the report of women's safety prepared by AWC. Thank you, Honorable Governor, for your graceful presence. I bow my head in gratefulness to express our sincere thanks to Sister Beena ji for having given permission to conduct this conference at this peaceful, beautiful and pleasant surroundings. Thank you very much, Devi. We are very much happy and grateful to AWC President, Secretary and Treasurer and all the patrons for opting WIA Chennai to host the annual conference this year. Thank you all. A special mention of thanks to be made for our President Srimati Padma Venkataraman for her untiring efforts and the guidance given to our members to conduct this conference successfully in Chennai. Thank you, ma'am. I take immense pleasure in extending our sincere thanks to all the donors for the generous contribution for the conference. We are grateful to the special people who are part of our projects and activities of WIA, the Gypsies, disabled sisters, special people, transgenders, Bindu Arts School for their presence. I take this opportunity to extend our sincere thanks to the youth group of WIA, the students of Dr. M.G.R. Janaki College of Arts and Science for their interesting participation and also the programs going to be given by the Oilatam, Parai and the prayer song by the students of Janaki M.G.R. College. Our special thanks to all the sisters and brothers of the Happy Village Retreat Center for their support and help. I thank the Vice Presidents, Srimati Shanti Secretary, Srimati Vanaja Krishnamurthy Treasurer, the executive committee members of WIA and also the different branches of WIA for their support. Our sincere thanks are due to the staff of WIA for their contribution of the conference. My sincere thanks to all the delegates from different parts of India, the executive committee members of AWC, the patrons, and each and every one of you. I extend our grateful thanks to all the participants, well-wishers, and the friends of WIA for their participation in the inaugural function. Last but not the least, our special thanks are due to the media for their presence and coverage of this memorable event of WIA. I thank again one and all. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. We shall all now rise for the national anthem.
The camera.
Gujarat, Maratha, Dravida, Utkala, Banga, Vindhya, Himachala, Yamuna, Ganga, Uchala, Jalati, Taranga, Tava Shubha Name Jage, Tava Shubha Ashisha Mage, Gage Tava Jaya Gada, Janagana Mangala Dayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidata Jaya He Jaya He Jaya He Jaya 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 He Bolo Bharat Mata Ki Jai Vande Mataram.
Ini